That dog is so cute.
So as of September 22nd, my name is Nikita Rain.
Woo!
Thank you. That was a lot of work. I felt like I had to write the government like a novella of who I am, basically. But I just kind of wanted to share a little bit about my story, if that's okay. I was born in Fargo, North Dakota, kind of went around, toured a bunch of different cities, and landed in Hershey, Pennsylvania, where I just scootered over from. I was married when I first got there. I was a cisgendered straight man when I first got there. I mean, not really. I figured it out within about a month. Because before that, I was like in New York, and I felt like I was putting everything into my work, into my career, hustling. And then Hershey had nothing to do. So I was just like, well, let's figure out this gender thing that I have been running away from. Yeah, and it's been a wild ride, and I just think it's like that, like coming to Hershey, that's where I first came out to myself. I feel like that's something that you have to do first, you know, like I was just in denial closet, like just don't think about it. It's not okay. So just hide it, shove it away, like literally at times like bundling up my gender in a box in my parents' basement, taping it so that I would know if my parents ever found out or something like that, and then purging those clothes as I go and starting the process over again. And it's just like, and I know I've realized how much more open I am since then. How something like this would have pretty much terrified me before, but I'm like, okay, let's do this. And like my music and my art, because I'm a musician, I do kids music these days. I went to school for jazz and whatnot. And I've noticed like, wow, it's easier to do that. It's easier to create, even though that skill was something that got me through those decades of pain. Now I can use it and I can really show it off in a way that I just never was able to do. And I did bring my ukulele. I don't know if, do you guys have a stand? I don't know.
We don't have a mic stand out here right now.
I'll just project. I've been doing. Well, I want to share a couple more things, but then I'll get my ukulele.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So there's a couple other things I want to say. So, I did lose some friends and some family. Obviously, I was married. I'm no longer. And I lost that whole branch of people that I was, looking forward to Thanksgiving with. And I lost like 3 of my best friends. Can you believe that? Like 3 of the top 5 people in my life just, left my life in a hurricane. And that was so hard. But I reconnected with other friends, and the few that I had are just like my family, and I feel like I can make friends better, like I feel like once you are open and honest, you can share, you can be more vulnerable, you can just like, and you can set boundaries. I wasn't able to set boundaries. I didn't even know what a boundary was. I thought it was like a territorial thing. Like that was all new to me. Like I've had to learn how to do that stuff, and it's been great. And I have the best friends, and and then also, okay, so I'm a daycare teacher, right? So then I'm starting out at this place as, my persona, my fake persona, Mr. Nickel, his name was, by the way. And the kids loved me, the families loved me, but would they still, right? So I had already lost some friends and family that didn't, like, was that going to continue into my career was the main concern. How was that going to, and everyone knows, thank you for sharing. I didn't catch your name. BJ? All right. Thank you for sharing your story, BJ. I was here for that one. Yeah, like I was like, what's gonna happen when I come out to a bunch of preschoolers and the families and the management? And so that just like kept me up at night for a while, for a couple months. But I talked to HR first, and then HR was like, "Okay, you got to talk to the regional manager. She's cool." So I talked to the regional manager. She was cool. And then, meanwhile, my boss had said some stuff, not knowing that I'm transgender, had said some stuff about trans people that I didn't think did not make me feel safe. Let's say that. And I said that to HR and regional manager, and they're like, "Oh, she's so nice, though. She's so nice, right?" And then I come, and then, but then, so then I'm coming out. It was October of last year. It's actually been a year since I started coming out at work. And I come out and I plan this whole thing. So I tell I tell my boss first and tell the families second. And I say, like, next week I'm going to tell your kids. So if you want to have a conversation with your kids, have it the day before so that the kids they can't keep a secret, that they don't, spread it out before everyone can have a chance. And then the day of, I went to every classroom and I came out to them, and the kids, like, some of them got it immediately, which was amazing. I was working primarily in the 2-year-old room at the time, interestingly. So and the way that we always had, like, a book, so like a book to kind of like introduce the subject, and then it would say, like, okay, no, I'm, is Mr. Nickel, but I'm going to go by Miss Nickel, and I know you think I am a boy, but I'm a girl on the inside, and it's who you are on the inside that matters, was kind of the way that we had communicated that. And then the 2-year-olds, the book that we had chosen was Hungry Hungry Caterpillar, because the caterpillar, like, changes into a butterfly, right? And I'm telling the kids that I am transgender and I'm really a girl, but they're like, "Wait, are caterpillars turn into butterflies?" It, like, never occurred to them that those were the same thing. And so, like, most of that conversation was like, "Yeah, so, like, let's go over that caterpillar thing again." And it's like, "Yeah, okay, you're Miss Nickel, fine." Like, that was, like, not a problem. So, in yeah, so that is just kind of an indication, a weird, curious indication of, like, how we learn these things throughout our lifetime, that it's not okay to be LGBTQ plus, right? That is a social thing that we all are taught by sometimes people we love, the shows that we want to watch, the books that we read, the classes that we take. Like, sometimes you can learn misinformation about your own identity in a college course, which happened to me. And so we learn these things along the way, but really, when you get down to that childhood self, like, it's, who cares, right? And maybe someday we won't need to have a coming out festival because everyone just comes out and it's not a big deal, right? It's just like, oh, okay, cool. You want to wear dresses? You want to be a girl? You are a girl? Great. That kind of stuff. So, which brings me, and then the other part that I want to talk about was that I have a kids YouTube channel, and I am going to come out on that, and that terrifies me a little bit more than the parents, because that's putting yourself on the internet. We all know what the internet's like. So part of being here, I think, is to help me get some confidence to do that. I'm almost there. I've got the script ready. I've got the puppets primed. And it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. And when I was really scared to do that, like, I sat down and I just couldn't get a word out, couldn't get anything out. What came out instead was a song that I want to play for you. So that's where the ukulele comes from. Okay, hopefully it can still sing. The stories you tell, the songs you sing, the art you make, the feelings you bring, they're all important, it's true, because they share the treasures in you. No need to dig deep, the gold is right there in the art and the songs and the feelings you share. They're new to the world and beautiful too, because they come
from beautiful you.
Thank you.
This awesome church who's hosting us and their congregation. I would love to open up the floor for anybody who wants to come up and tell their coming out story. If you want to come up and feel supported, please feel free. And here's Angela.
I forgot everything. I forgot to say I'm Parker. Come on.
Thanks, Parker. I am Pastor Angie Hammer. Angela is like, I'm in trouble or something.
Okay,
so Pastor Angie's fine. So we're happy and proud to host this event today. We are a Lutheran congregation. We are also what's called a Reconciling in Christ congregation. In 2019, the congregation went through a prayerful discernment process on being an open, welcoming, and an affirming congregation. And we came to that conclusion because we know that there are churches in the area that are not open and welcoming, and in fact live a completely opposite theology and understanding of God's love. And we understand that that is dangerous and hurtful. And we wanted to let the community know that we are a safe space for people to come and worship. It doesn't matter if your social economic status, your marital status, who you love, how you identify. We're all part of God's creation. No matter how you understand God, we're all part of God's ongoing creation. And we believe in total inclusiveness, not exclusiveness. And so we are just part of the community. The space that you're in, we have called this the backyard, because it is our backyard, and we host events that are not worship centered. They are community centered, just as this. We want people to enjoy the space and to gather. We host live music, cornhole events, those sorts of things that just bring the community together to have fun. And we do that all to share the resources that we've been given. And also we have a food pantry. And so we recognize that there's a lot of people who are food insecure. And when we host a gathering such as today, we just ask you to bring some non-perishable food items and we share it with the community. And that's all we ask. So we're happy to partner with Lidditz Chooses Love. We're happy to have a new friendship and relationship with Parker and all of you that are here today. If anybody has any questions about what it means to be an open and welcoming, affirming church, I'm happy to have that conversation with you. If you have any questions about how we as Christians, our theology and understanding of God's love, I'm more than happy to have that conversation with you. If you'd like to come worship with us on Sunday, you are welcome, you are safe, and you are loved right here in this building, 10 o'clock every Sunday. So that's it. Thank you for being here.
Similarly to many of yours. I was an early teen in middle school when I realized that things were different in the way that I didn't fit into the heteronormative narrative. When I was in 6th grade, I started to realize that I was attracted to girls, and at the time, I was also attracted to boys. But once I realized my attraction to girls, I kept it hidden out of fear of the unknowns. How would my family react if they knew I liked girls? How much bullying would I face in addition to the bullying I was already facing? Because at that time, I was the music nerd, into theater, and I wasn't the thinnest person on the face of the planet. But by the time I was in high school, I finally figured out that there was a label for everything that I felt, and I self-identified as bisexual. Things kind of went along at a normal pace, but I realized that decision to keep everything a secret was probably a wise one after I saw how some of my friends were treated when they came out of the closet. Being in very conservative Ephrata wasn't probably the safest place to come out. And kids in high school were just downright nasty to my friends. When I was in college, I met and fell in love with a man, was engaged before I graduated, and then got married to him a year after graduation. 3 years after that, we had a child together, Judith, who's sitting over here on the hill. But even then, I still knew something was off. By the time I was 31, my soon-to-be ex-husband came out of the closet as bisexual with pretty much a sole preference to men. I thought about things, and within a week, I finally decided it was time to come out of the closet to him. And I told him that I was also bisexual. He wanted to know why I never told him about my bisexuality. And I confessed that I never said anything about it because I didn't think it really mattered. We were in love, we were married. I just didn't think it was an important thing to say. But around that time, I also started to slowly come out to my family. I was still unsure about how they would respond, but my parents and my one grandmother were surprisingly supportive. I never officially came out to my other grandparents because they were very conservative. My mom's side of the family was always more conservative. And I was just afraid of the homophobia that I had seen from them before. But I think my grandparents probably knew, because even as early as late middle school or high school, my grandmother would make comments about my lack of boyfriends, how she didn't think I would get married. And I think they knew that something different was happening, but they never treated me any differently. Shortly after I did come out, there was another phenomenon that I was trying to figure out and had confused me for decades. And it wasn't until later that I was talking to my former pastor's child that I realized there was a name for it. The overwhelming majority of my crushes I had in middle school, high school, and college were to people who I were friends with and I had an established connection or another relationship with. And then I realized after digging further into my friend's Instagram that there was something on there that they had called demisexuality. Not knowing what this was, I naturally went to Google, started reading on it, and had this epiphany. Oh my gosh, it explains so much. And that was the time I realized not only was I bisexual, but I was demisexual, which probably explained my lack of relationships throughout school. But even with all of these discoveries, not all my labels really seemed to fit. And I had been questioning for many years, am I really bisexual? And it was only earlier this year that I finally admitted to myself, and today on Coming Out Day, I can finally come out and say that I am gay, I'm demisexual, and now the world can know.
Woo!
Okay, everyone. So thank you for watching those clips. There were many more speakers, but I just wanted to highlight those ones. I thought that they were pretty powerful and very detailed and gave a really good description of what probably a lot of us go through on some sense of a level who have come out or have had multiple coming outs. But really quick, I do want to talk about the different vendors that were there in case you couldn't really get a gist of it from, the little clips that I showed. There was Black Cat Yoga who did yoga. I think it was for maybe like 30 minutes right in the middle of where everyone was. And it was really awesome. They played some stuff, and it was really cool. And then they actually have a studio. We passed it. I think it's in Lidditz. And then they had their own, table as well. They offer accessible acceptance-based yoga to all wishing to practice. So their core belief is that everybody deserves the opportunity to explore joyful movement, regardless of size, age, race, ability, gender identity, religion, or economic means. And Crescentia is a local face and body painter, artist, filmmaker, and parent. And they've recently discovered the label non-binary. And so this is their first coming out day. They do designs. Um, then there's also Griddle and Grind. They were a creperie and cafe. It was really cool. They had like t-shirts and stuff there too. They offered a variety of sweet and savory crepes and specialty coffees, espresso drinks. They had homemade alternative dairy milks and flavored syrups. And the cafe side, they had a lot of cool. It was just a lot of cool fucking stuff. I'm sorry. Oh, Planned Parenthood was there, providing information on the healthcare for the transgender community of Lancaster County. CAP, which is Lancaster County's anti-poverty agency, which they say their mission is to end generational poverty by providing economic prosperity so that everyone can thrive. They provide an array of services from domestic violence to utilities, assistance, and WIC, and much more. They were there on site as well for anyone who might have needed their services. And Makeup and Magic was there. Melody Leon. She is a third-generation energy worker and professional makeup artist with over 18 years of industry experience. They've created supportive services to help their clients be purposeful in caring for their energy through the creative arts. And they had all kinds of stuff from lashes to lipstick to sage to incense, eyeshadows to crystal necklaces, spirit baths, and much, much more. Then there's also Leah Lindermuth, who recently graduated from Warwick High School and is taking a gap in a year from school to save money to work on art. So they had a bunch of their art there. Then there's Sydney, who's an illustrator and designer. They had some really cool pieces there too. Then there was, which was one of my favorite, the Forgotten Rainbow, which they crochet everything they have pretty much. They also make like masks. You have to just see it to see what I'm talking about. Honestly, it's like I might have a picture. See if I can find a picture. Actually, I'll just show you a video of it because it was too fucking cool. Then there was Cat Coven featuring patches and art prints. That stuff was really cool. It just had I can't explain it. It was just really cool stuff and like really original illustrations that people did. Then there was Ray's hats, handmade hats with love. They were really cool crocheted hats. Then there was Opal Octopus, which was run by a married queer couple. And actually Forgotten Rainbow was too. But Opal Octopus enjoys making art in their free time. They live in Lidditz. They have 2 cats and a dog. And they just enjoy creating art as an outlet to cope. They have everything from vinyl cuts to like cups. They're really cool. They definitely will have something that you're interested in. They just had a wide range of stuff. It's kind of hard to explain. You had to be there to see it. Like that's the best thing that I can say, you know. But yeah, it was a really fucking cool day, and there was a lot of really awesome stuff. So yeah, if you have a chance next year, just make sure you come out. Like there'll definitely be more information on it. And I know that Lidditz Chooses Love is doing more stuff coming in the future. So just I will post some links actually, and then I'll attach them to this video so that you can get more information. But until then, stay up, y'all.